Hello, dear friends. It is Dr. Sarah, and I am back with you today to talk about the critical role of your thyroid and how essential oils can help maintain the health of our thyroid gland. Now, as many of you know, the thyroid gland is vital for a variety of physiological processes. In fact, it helps regulate our metabolism, our emotions, our brain function, our heart rate, our muscle contraction, cholesterol levels, liver function, and much more. So, if there is a thyroid disease that is untreated, it can cause a wide range of different health concerns and different symptoms. So, for example, someone with a thyroid disorder could also potentially present with cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, pregnancy complications, infertility, and mood imbalances. But thankfully, it is possible to support the health of our thyroid gland through lifestyle practices and holistic tools that optimize healthy hormone balance. And there's individualized and appropriate treatment options available from integrative medical professionals. And this is often most beneficial when dealing with thyroid and other complex endocrine disorders. So let's in this video highlight one of my favorite ways to support thyroid health. And you've probably guessed it if you've been following me for a while. It's going to be about essential oils. I want to review how they help to address the underlying triggers that actually cause thyroid imbalances and how they can help alleviate some of the symptoms that result. As always, all of the resources and references will be available in the accompanying article links as well as in the resource section. So let's get started. First, let's discuss more about thyroid disorders. As I stated, thyroid hormones have systemic wide effects. So because the thyroid impacts so many different areas of the body, various symptoms can result. So, a poorly regulated thyroid could be contributing to various disorders that many people are not aware of as a factor. How many people's heart doctors check their thyroid? How many people with a diagnosis of osteoporosis are looking at the health of the thyroid gland? This could be a contributor. So, I think it's important to bring up this topic. The American Thyroid Association actually estimates that about 12% of the US population will develop a thyroid condition in their lifetime. That's 20 million people. But 60% of those with a thyroid disease are unaware of their endocrine gland dysfunction. This means many people are affected, they don't even know it. Now, when we discuss primary thyroid dysfunction, there's two main types. There's hypo or low thyroid functioning and hyper or high thyroid hormone output. We have the autoimmune processes, Hashimoto's, which can cause hypofunctioning thyroidism, or Graves' disease, which often is accompanied by hyperthyroid symptoms or high output of thyroid hormone. Now, essential oils can be used to balance the thyroid and help with many of the symptoms of these different dysfunctions. I had previously recorded a podcast on the essential oil revolution on essential oils for thyroid help to help with rebalancing some of the underlying triggers, as well as helping with the symptoms of thyroid disorders. As a little bit of an update, I've always am updating my list of all the different things that essential oils can do. And because of their vast physiological properties, they can help to restore balance in the body by addressing some of the often underlying imbalances that can cause the thyroid hormone to become disarray and also the contributors to thyroid disruption. So, for example, essential oils can modulate the immune system and help with inflammation, which are underlying triggers. They can support several enzymes that help the body detoxify. So, toxins we know can interrupt with hormone health and thyroid receptor sensitivity. Essential oils act as antioxidants, so this protects cellular and mitochondrial health, which is important for hormone output. They're neuroprotective, preserving cognitive function, so it helps with brain receptors and thyroid balance with neurotransmitters. They are antibacterial, they're antimicrobial, antifungal. So this aids in mitigating stealth infections that can accumulate from toxin-related or microbe-related immune compromise and contribute to some autoimmune disorders. They aid in digestion, assimilation, elimination, and a healthy microbiome. So this helps with making sure we're getting the nutrients needed to appropriately support and optimally help the function of our thyroid gland. They help with modulating stress, and we know that stress is a key factor of a contributor, sometimes even one of the root causes of a lot of disorders. By modulating stress, essential oils can also support cortisol output, hormone balance, and regulate blood sugar issues. They support vagal tone, which is enhancement of the parasympathetic activity of the body. This means all of the autonomic processes, your rest and digest system, and things such as breathing and heart contraction, all the things we don't think about are supported by an optimized vagal tone. And they enhance our emotional health, not just through stress reduction, but also their biochemical properties that impact the neurotransmitters through influencing neuroplasticity, and they can shift our brain electrical activity. Some can be more for stimulating our brain waves, some can be more for calming, some can bring more of a balance. So if we look at this with thyroid, when the body is stressed and it's pumping out, say, a lot of cortisol, high cortisol levels can actually downregulate the secretion of thyroid stimulating hormone, as well as the conversion of inactive thyroid hormone to active thyroid hormone. So if we inhale soothing essential oils such as lavender, frankincense, citrus oils, and bergamot, we can help balance thyroid levels by indirectly intercepting at where thyroid hormones could get hijacked by overwhelm. Essential oils can also modulate other hormones indirectly or some directly by all of these different factors that they influence. Essential oils also influence our HPA axis, which is our hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which is related to the regulation of the different hormone responses that we get from our brain. Remember, when we inhale essential oils, we're automatically bypassing any relay system, and it goes directly to the emotional part of our brain, which influences hormonal output and different neurosignaling patterns. So oils such as bergamot, lavender, ylang ylang, these are oils that help with vagal tone, rose, geranium, clary sage, neroli, and jasmine. All of these oils have been used successfully to help women with different hormonal issues, as well as help with men with stress. And if we want to look at how essential oils modulate immunity, this can benefit autoimmune thyroid disease, which is most common in the United States. So essential oils can help the immune response of those with, say, mold-related illness that could be contributing to different autoimmune processes. They support the microbiome, which is essential for immune function, our gut bugs. Essential oils can help signal antibodies, which help tag different things in our body for the immune system to come and find that aren't very helpful for us, such as microbes or toxins or cellular debris. And they balance overall immune activity by the way they modulate inflammation. So I encourage you to listen to the whole podcast if you want some additional details. I went through some of the highlights as well as added some additional physiological mechanisms right now for you in this video blog. But topics on the podcast, which I'll provide for you with a link in the resource section as well as in the accompanying article, we talk about thyroid health, thyroid lab testing, the interaction between estrogen, cortisol, and thyroid health, which we went over a little bit here, how hormones interact with brain health, the gut thyroid mood link, a list of popular essential oils for common hypo and hyperthyroid symptoms. So this would be for things such as pain, inflammation, skin issues, digestive disturbances, detox, and anxiety, and then naturopathic and functional medicine support. So you'll want to check out that podcast. And now I want to talk to you a little bit more about a few studies that have clinical support for using essential oils for thyroid health. Recently, I watched a YouTube video with a researcher who reviewed one of these studies, and it was an essential oil blend for fatigue in clinically diagnosed hypothyroid patients. And the study has great applicability into the real world. It was a randomized placebo-controlled trial. It incorporated a blend of different mints, citrus, and spices. They were smelled for 15 minutes per day, very doable. And what it did was decrease subjective measures of fatigue, and they did use validated scales. And the important part here is that they were after a population that often doesn't get studied in research, which is women, and subjective measures, which often get overlooked but are very important for the patient. You can have different markers move on and off labs, but the patient still feels lousy. So the fact that there were ratings as well to go along with the fact that these people felt less fatigue with hypothyroidism is a big deal. Now, just another couple notes here. They inhaled the essential oil between 1 to 3 p.m. for 14 days. This is usually a time people feel kind of an energy slump. And it was 3 drops of this blend. And the blend specifically was peppermint, clove, black pepper, white grapefruit, and bergamot. That was the specific blend. I'll have a link in the video description of the accompanying article with this study. There was another cool study with clary sage for mood, cortisol, and thyroid health in menopausal women. Specifically, what this study did is it took 22 menopausal women in their 50s, and they were classified as either normal or depressive. And then they wanted to check out what clary sage would do in neurotransmitter concentrations, and it impacted cortisol and serotonin levels, as well as, I believe, thyroid stimulating hormone was also reduced. It wasn't statistically significant, but it was reduced. Now, the less the body is outputting thyroid stimulating hormones means that it's got enough thyroid already, so it doesn't have to keep stimulating. So a lower number at TSH, the thyroid stimulating hormone, is actually considered better for the most part, unless it gets too low, and that's not good either. So those were all good outcomes for this small study. So that's an overview. We talked about why the health of our thyroid is critically important, all of the different things that essential oils do to support the underlying triggers as well as symptoms that can occur as a result of thyroid imbalances, and then 2 studies that used a blend and one with clary sage that could potentially support some of the impact of a low thyroid functioning. And that being said, I know this is a lot of information. So when one has a thyroid disorder, because there's so many interacting and complex factors, it's often good to consult with an expert. And I do have a resource for you with this. I also did another podcast episode with someone that is my go-to for thyroid health and overall functional medicine is Dr. Hedberg. And he's an internationally esteemed evidence-based research oriented and holistic functional medicine chiropractic physician, and he has over 20 years of clinical experience. He's a lecturer, presenter, formulator, author, educator, and a podcast host as well. He is really great at helping to get to the root cause of thyroid disorders, and using nutrition, lifestyle, natural hormones, herbal medicine, and proper supplementation, he'll address them with addressing the root cause. When we talked, Dr. Hedberg went over his functional and integrative approach to thyroid health. He highlighted all the interwoven and intricate connections between the thyroid and our overall wellness. And he touched upon underlying causes of thyroid disease that are often overlooked, such as infections, dietary factors, nutrient deficiencies, genetics, detoxification, and more. And I promise you, most conventional docs aren't looking at those underlying issues. They might just be adjusting labs that are going up and down, and oftentimes the patient or client still feels icky. So we also talked about his approach to healing. It's very integrative. And then, of course, I piped in and talked about how essential oils can play a role. Again, the link will be in the video to the detailed show notes as well as to the podcast. So if we summarize about how essential oils impact thyroid health, we know that the health of our thyroid is vital for the regulation of many vital processes, and we want it to support it. And An imbalance in thyroid can cause a wide range of different disorders. So, essential oils aid thyroid health because they address the underlying physiological imbalance and triggers of thyroid dysfunction due to their many biochemical properties and the way they act in synergy with the body to bring about balance. So, this not only helps with the underlying root issues, but also addresses the symptoms. Now, because thyroid and endocrine disorders are often very complex, oftentimes consulting with integrative, functional medicine, or naturopathic doctor is probably your best bet because once one of the hormones is out of whack, it impacts a cascade of all the other ones. And it's a very complex hormonal milieu. So there you have it. That is about essential oils and the importance of our thyroid health and how they help our thyroid. If you have any feedback or comments or questions, I would love to hear in the comment section. And I am just releasing an invitation to a webinar that I am offering on mind, body, heart, spirit transformation, which focuses on brain health. And there will be a link in the video description as well as in the resource section. So if you're interested in joining me for this free webinar and learning more, make sure you check that out. I would love to have you there. It is for a number of people, and you have to sign up to get the date and the time. I will talk to you real soon.